A seasoned hiker named Sam trudged through the dense Rocky Mountain forest, miles from any trail or sign of civilization. His hiking boots crunching over leaves and rocks as he moved deeper into the heart of the wilderness. He'd been hiking for hours, pushing further off trail than he'd ever gone before, feeling the thrill of solitude and the wild places few people dared to explore. It was just him, his backpack, and the quiet pulse of the mountains. There was a faint mist creeping in with the dusk, blanketing the trees in a quiet, gray haze. As he paused to sip from his canteen, he became aware of something strange. The forest had gone silent, not just calm but utterly still. No birdsong, no rustling leaves, nothing. Sam scanned the woods, an unsettling chill crawling down his spine. He felt the air shift behind him, like a pressure he couldn't ignore. Slowly he turned, his heart pounding. That was when he saw it. A colossal grizzly bear stood a few yards away, a silent titan blending almost perfectly with the twilight shadows. Its eyes locked onto him, sharp and predatory, and its breath steamed in the cool evening air. Sam knew not to run. He'd read enough survival guides to know better. He stood frozen, hoping the bear would move on. But it didn't. Instead, it lowered its massive head, nostrils flaring as it took a step forward. Sam barely had time to react before it lunged, crossing the distance in an instant. He threw his arms up instinctively, but the bear's jaws closed around him in one swift motion, lifting him off his feet. His world spun, the ground vanishing as he was swallowed whole in a single terrifying gulp. Sam was plunged into darkness, disoriented as the bear's gullet squeezed him downward, deeper and deeper until he landed in a thick, sloshing pool of liquid. It was hot, acrid, and burned against his skin as he took shallow, panicked breaths. He realized with a jolt of terror that he was inside the bear's stomach. The walls pulsed around him, and he could feel the slow, rhythmic thump of the bear's heartbeat surrounding him. He tried to scream, but the thick, fleshy walls absorbed the sound. The air was stifling, a miasma of half-digested meals and acidic rot. The walls contracted, pressing him painfully from all sides. His mind raced with desperate thoughts. This couldn't be the end. Fighting back his terror, Sam groped around, his fingers brushing against something sharp. He clutched it, realizing he'd found a broken rib bone, probably from one of the bear's previous meals. It was crude and slippery, but it was something. His grip tightened and he jabbed the bone into the stomach wall. It took all his strength just to make a small puncture. The bear roared, its bellow vibrating through the walls around him. But Sam didn't stop. He stabbed the bone repeatedly, each thrust weakening the wall a little more. The acidic fluid stung his hands, arms, and face, but he focused on the only thought that mattered: getting out. With one final push, the bone tore through the stomach lining and a cold rush of air hit Sam. He ripped his way forward, clawing through the opening with everything he had. The bear lurched, staggered, and fell to its side, thrashing as Sam squeezed his way out, sliding onto the forest floor in a heap, drenched and gasping. Sam lay there, stunned, his body burning from the acidic juices that clung to him. The bear, disoriented and moaning in pain, looked at him with confusion and turned, lumbering into the shadows, retreating into the depths of the forest. The night was silent again, broken only by Sam's ragged breathing. He stared up at the dark canopy of trees, feeling a strange, overwhelming surge of relief and disbelief. The stars twinkled above, indifferent to his battle, his survival. Slowly, painfully, Sam sat up. He was miles from the nearest trail, battered and bruised, but alive. He reached into his pack, grabbing a small bottle of water to rinse himself as best he could. Every breath hurt, but he welcomed the ache. It meant he was still here. After a moment's rest, he found the strength to get up, unsteady but determined. He took a deep breath, looking back in the direction he'd come, and began the long walk back, each step a reminder of his impossible escape. Sam didn't know what awaited him on the way home, but he knew one thing: he would never look at the wilderness or himself in quite the same way again.